This is the Oppo Reno 80 and this feels like a rebranded Oppo F21 Pro. Maybe not. To know what I'm talking about, keep watching this video. This video is sponsored by Master Planet of Smartphone and Gadget. More about them later in this video. You can obviously check them out from the links in the description below. Now, the Oppo Reno 80 comes with a price tag that is considered to be a hefty price tag for a smartphone like this one. And there is not a lot of things going on here. They have a leather back like the Oppo F21 Pro. And you can find a lot of similarities with the Oppo F21 Pro, which was released last year. Now, before we jump into that controversy, let's talk about what Oppo has offered with this phone. Now, for the designer aesthetic, this phone looks very premium and feels very good on hand thanks to the leather finish on the back, and this is a very slim phone, which I like about it, and it weighs only 180 grams, which is pretty impressive for a smartphone like this. Now on the back you will find this kind of perforation which will feel like that stitching, but this is not actually stitched, they are just the perforation, and it says AI portrait camera, ultra clear lens, and below that you'll find the Oppo branding over there. Now I would say the font and the text are pretty good and they don't bother with the look of this device. On the top left corner of the back they have featured two big circular camera housing which houses three cameras, two of which are kind of useless for most of the people. We'll be talking about that later. The frame of this phone is rounded and it feels really good on hands, and whenever you'll be holding it, it gives a good feedback on your hand. You are not going to get any issue with the ergonomics of this phone. For the bottom side of this phone they have featured a speaker grill, USB Type-C, the microphone, and our beloved 3.5mm headphone jack. On the left side there is two volume rockers, they are separated, and a SIM card tray that can fit two 4G SIM cards with an SD card. 4G because Oppo has launched the 4G version of the Reno 80 in Bangladesh, so I have it on my hand. On the right side of the phone we have the power button, and on the top we have the secondary noise cancellation mic, which is good to see. On the front of this device, this thing has featured a 6.43 inches 1080p 90Hz display with a peak brightness of 800 nits. That is very respective, and the color accuracy of the display looks okay, and the viewing angles are good, and there is a punch hole on the top of the display you can see here, and it doesn't feel that much big actually, which is a nice thing. And I actually like the punch hole on this side of the phone because it kind of feels less distracting, and we actually don't get that much of content on this part of the screen. Now under the hood this thing has packed up the MediaTek Helio G99 chipset, which is a proven chipset. In our testing we have done benchmark testing, and this has made a respective score. You can see the score on the screen right now, and we have also done the GPU testing, and there it also made a respective score for what is it. Now for the storage configuration they have opted for the UFS 2.2, which is kind of a okay speed for this price segment, and the internal storage is 128 GB with 8 GB of RAM, and they works well with the G99, and the day-to-day experience was really good. I appreciate that. Now let's talk about the cameras. On the top housing they have featured a 100 megapixel sensor, which is really impressive for the price tag, but we'll see the actual performance of the sensor soon. On the bottom housing they have featured a 2 megapixel depth sensor along with a 2 megapixel microscopy sensor, which kind of remind you of the Oppo F21 Pro, which we have reviewed. You can check it out from the links in the description below, and from the I button also. Now the impressive thing about this is the microscopic camera, which you can use to get very close-up shots. This is not the typical macro shooter on most of the smartphone and most of the flagship out there. This takes it to the next level. The focusing distance of this camera is really close, and you can get texture of the different subjects, and you can take very close-up shots with that. You can see the fibers on your cloth. This thing is really impressive. Now let's talk about the main camera. The main camera is the 100 megapixel shooter, and unfortunately this cannot shoot 4K videos. This is only limited up to 1080p. I don't know why. And on the top housing they have featured a breathing light, they call it. This is actually a notification light, and it is actually functional, and it gives you peace of mind if you put your phone topside down like I like to do. So now let's take a look at some image samples and video samples coming out of the smartphone. As far as the quality concerns, this camera delivers good quality pictures, but I would expect an OIS at least for this price tag in the smartphone, but there is no OIS in this thing. And in terms of video, the electronic image stabilization does its job. The microscopic camera is impressive, but I don't think most of the people will be benefited for a microscopic camera. Instead, they could fit a ultra-wide camera, which is very useful for most of the people. And the front camera is what it is, so no complaints, nothing to say about that. Now they have set up the stereo speaker system on this smartphone, and in our experience, the sound quality was good, and it can go pretty loud, but it would get some distortion in the high ends of this volume. For the power department, they have set up a 5000 milliamps battery on the smartphone, and this is really impressive because it will last you more than a day in a single charge. And they have packed up a 33-watt charger in the box that is really good, that you can charge your phone pretty fast. In my use cases, the battery backup was really good, and I'm really giving the edge to Oppo for this. This one prices around 33,000 Bangladeshi Taka at March 2, but you can get a discount if you refer as my viewer, like if you are a subscriber to this channel. And if you want to make any purchase, I highly recommend you March 2. They are a group of smartphone shop at 3rd floor of Satagan complex in Kumilla. No matter which smartphone you need, they have all of the brands covered. To get your desired smartphone at a better price and get a better deal, you should check out March 2 from the links in the description below. And they are the trusted mobile shop in Kumilla, obviously. So if you are in Kumilla and you want to make any kind of purchase, not this smartphone, any other smartphone, you can simply go to March 2. They have all the brands covered in the same house, so that's a really good thing. So grab your smartphone for a better deal right now from March 2. Now let's move on to the verdict. So for the price tag, what Oppo has done here is not that much impressive, because in this price tag there are other companies that can offer much better values. And I would say that the lack of the ultra-wide camera and optical image stabilization in this price segment is really a deal breaker for most of the people. I would be glad to see them in this smartphone. And for the performance side, the MediaTek G99 isn't that much good of a chipset, because I have seen some lags and stuttering while using it just for the normal task. Now you might have remembered that at the beginning of this video I have told that this is a rebranded Oppo F21 Pro. That is because most of the features are similar to this Oppo F21 Pro, and the leather back is also there, and that is also a better value. The only downside is that this has the latest Android 13, so the latest software experience will be here, but Oppo F21 Pro was released with the Android 12. But for the price tag, the offering is not that overwhelming. One thing I really like about that, the new ColorOS is really polished and gives a good feeling while you are using it. Although this is not the best UI out there, but this is still impressive. So this was the video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, please give a thumbs up to this video. I'll see you soon in some new interesting videos. Till then, stay good, keep good, and keep doing incredible things. And yes, of course, keep watching Incredible Victor. If you want to make any purchase, you can check out the links in the description below and visit Mars too.